There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the Name. Hey, yo, what's going on? Right now you're watching Casino is the Name, and I'm sitting here with Sheena, the preneur. Sheena-preneur. And today we're going to talk about government contracts. She's pretty much an expert. She doesn't like to say it, but to me, she's an expert in the category. She's done a few government contracts, so we're going to talk about government contracts today. So you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Okay, thank you for having me. So my name is Sheena Parker, and my business is Foresight Industries. I do mostly local contracting with facility maintenance and real estate. I've been doing it for about 3 years now, a little shy of 3 years. So I do facility maintenance for buildings and for housing and for any type of commercial facility.
Wow. I didn't even know that. I know she does contracts. So I was just like, you know what? I got to get her in here. So what would you say would be a good reason for people to get into government contracts?
Well, one of the main reasons is a lot of times when you have a startup, you're begging people to pretty much buy your product, to buy your service. When it comes to government contracting, they're begging you to bid on a contract. So I just always thought that was something that was hard to obtain, but really it's out there. And if you provide a service or if you can sell a product, the government is probably going to buy it.
So every business needs a client. Right.
Right.
And
exactly.
so most businesses are, they're in competition. There's very little competition in the government contracting sector. You have a huge client, a client who can buy whatever you can produce.
Millions of dollars.
Billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars.
And so, you just have to have a product that you can facilitate to them, but they're pretty much in every market. They want some of anything from clothing to buildings to cars to whatever it is. And so could you tell them a little bit, both of us actually, because I haven't actually heard too much about her first contract, but can you tell us how you got into government contracts?
So basically, to back even further up from that, I started off doing real estate. And I kind of went backwards in real estate. I started off as a landlord, and then I flipped, and then I wholesaled. So I just kind of went all over the place, realized I didn't like that life, and so, or temporarily didn't like that life. Yeah. And so throughout the process, I had a contractor, I had people who were helping me with the properties, and so the government contracting conversation kept coming up. Why are you not doing government contracting? I'm like, what is government contracting? Like, what does that mean? And so when I started doing my research about it, I realized that, okay, how can I have this still relate to real estate? Because I love real estate, it's near and dear to my heart. And of course, facility maintenance came up. And in addition to that, you can do real estate services like appraisal and property management and all that, everything. So I just started bidding on contracts. Oh, I wouldn't even say bidding. I would say looking and gathering the documents. And I bid on my first contract and won.
You bid on your first contract. You won your first contract.
First contract.
It was for her first contract.
It was a county contract, and my numbers were horrible. So I had to cancel the contract. And they always
bid.
Man, it was bad. It was so bad. And it was funny because I was like, oh my God,
no wonder you won.
Yeah, no kidding. And they put me in right away, and then my contractor was like, no way. Nah, that's not gonna work. So I canceled that contract, and then I actually bid on my second one, and I won that one.
Was there any penalty to canceling the contract?
There wasn't. Wow. I was so afraid, but there wasn't. Wow. There wasn't any penalty. So
that's a blessing.
It was a blessing.
See, don't be afraid to just step out there and try something,
And that's exactly why I let people know that story, because, I'm still here. So second one, I bid on for a different county, and I won, and that was a 6-figure contract.
Okay. How much was that? If you don't mind saying, we try to get her numbers.
Oh, get it my numbers. It started off as 115.
It started at 115. We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, and it kind of, but to that point, a lot of things, when you bid on a contract and you win, sometimes they want more stuff.
So you can just up the price.
It's it's called a change order. Yeah, it's called a change order, and so it ended up being a little bit more than that.
Okay, so, we're gonna get into all that, but just know it started at 115.
Yeah, and it It was amazing. I mean, amazing, scary, everything that you would face when you're,
like
in
you was really
actual
out there.
business.
Like,
yeah. Like we're working.
Imagine having 115 as first.
And they're handing you a check. Like, it's not even a deposit. It's like, here. And I'm looking at it like, okay, this is insane. Because, I mean, I've had businesses, like we've had businesses before. But, like, you hustling oranges. You know what I mean? It's not like you're getting
fighting for that.
Fighting for that $20, for that $100. This is like someone's handing you a $75,000 check and they're telling you, okay, go forth and do great things and expect you to come back. You know, but it was
this isn't a loan either. Like they're paying you for your service. This isn't a loan with no interest associated with it. They're just upfronting you the money or whatever. Some of it is 30, 60, 90 day or. So
ironically, this is how I know I'm supposed to be here with government contracting. Typically, you do the work, you get paid net 30 or net 15, just depends on which agency. They gave us the money up front before we even put one piece of material, and that's common. That's common. When it comes to buying materials, you can't ask for an advance up front.
So first we're going to talk about federal contracting.
Okay.
Because, local is a whole other, that people
sleeping on. The same and different, yes.
They sleeping on it, though.
That's true.
So everybody's looking at the federal. Of course, the federal money is crazy. It's ridiculous. How much money do you think is going to come out of this coronavirus situation?
Like I was telling the guy at the store earlier, I wish I was in the mass business, but it's going to be a lot. I mean, it's going to be a lot of new normals. There's going to be opportunities. People didn't know that they wanted to be in contracting, but because of this, they're going to be looking at it. And then now the SBA is stimulating the entrepreneurship route. Even with the loans. Yeah. Hey, just, if you have a business that might be doing mediocre, then go ahead and get a loan so you can ramp up your business and then you'll be selling to the government. So, I mean, we talked about it earlier where it's like kind of like a recession type of feel, and then something good always ends up coming in on the other side.
Certain industries, it's going to be, I was like, man, we really might get our first trillionaire coming out of this. Like, it's so much
might be one
money.
of us. How about that?
You know what? I'm gonna let her speak that into I'm gonna put that back on what she's saying.
Put that into the atmosphere. Definitely. Yeah.
I wasn't even ready for you to say that just then.
You gotta speak it.
But yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot of new industries coming out of this, and a lot more money coming from the government. Trillions of dollars are probably gonna be flowing through. I mean, the government already operates at like a $19 trillion deficit or something like that.
Right.
So. But there's going to be so many, I think it was like 50 billion was already signed in, and I've been seeing other countries signing 25 billion, 10 billion. Like it's going to be so much unbelievable amounts of money coming in. And for some of you who may not know, 1% of a billion is 10 million. So, just 1% is 10 million. So government contracts are set up federal government contracts are set up for 23% of all federal contracts to go to a small business. Just
for small business.
Just for small business. And hopefully some of you guys can grow your business to a large business, and then you open yourself up to another 75% or something.
And that's just for one set aside. So one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that if you're just a small business, you have honestly speaking, if you're a white male who's never been in the military, you wouldn't qualify for any other set aside, but you'll qualify for small business, and that's 23% of the market.
Right.
Women owned, I believe, is 5%. Veteran is 5%, and then service disabled veteran is 3%.
She's like the holy grail.
Oh gosh, I'm a hoarder of information. I hoard.
She's the holy grail over here. She's a black female with
service disabled
veteran. Like, she is the holy grail. If you're looking, because some guys out here probably watching this may not actually qualify for any of the set asides, but if they partner with you, then
we can joint venture.
Yeah, as long as she's 51%,
it's too easy.
You can get the set asides, and those set asides could be astronomical.
Absolutely. So, there's some things. I mean, people come at me regularly, especially in the veteran community, because if a contracting officer sees that you have whatever set aside they need to fulfill at that time. It may be that they haven't had any veteran contracts for the whole year, and here I come as a veteran. But then they're like, oh my goodness, we can actually fill the women-owned and the minority-owned at the same time. So yes, please come take our money.
And I've heard that it's even some like large companies that'll partner with people like small businesses.
Yep.
Just to get those set aside.
Mentor protege program, usually. That's usually that.
I'm telling you, like, it's money out here.
Yeah.
So, and you were telling me about you were talking about somebody, they had to fill at least $1 million. Like $1 million was the lowest that they could.
Oh yeah. So I go to a lot of veteran entrepreneur programs, and this particular one was a Veteran Institute of Procurement. And so, people come in and give their testimonies, and they speak about, where they were and where they are. And so I thought I was going to be in a room with people like me, thousandaires.
Yeah.
No.
100,000
Yeah, 100,000 maybe. But this particular gentleman was giving his story. He was in the program that I went to only a few years earlier. And so he mentioned at this point, I guess he's probably 8 years in his business. He can't even take contracts for $1 million. That's too. He doesn't have the resources to go that low. And so, it's kind of like, what? Did he just say he can't do $1 million? He's in the 9-figure realm. He's in the hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. And so, it sounds like it's hard to obtain, but as you start to communicate with a lot of people who are especially doing government contracting, and some people exclusively do government contracting, they don't do anything else.
Right. Of course.
It's normal. Like just even with me getting that 6-figure contract, that's very normal. And there's a lot of programs that will say, hey, your revenue has to be this amount, and then if you don't make that amount in your mind, you're saying, how in the world am I going to qualify for this program making $250? But that could be that could be a subcontract, in the eyes of government contracting. So it's just knowing your niche, like we talked about niche earlier. Knowing your niche, knowing what you're trying to sell. It's a lot easier than I guess if it was easy, everyone would be doing, but it really is easy. Yeah. It's easy. You just have to do the paperwork.
And also, like, that's a whole nother world, subcontracting.
Yes.
Because, you can win the contract, but even if you don't win the contract, you could possibly just link up with someone who has already won the contract and just subcontract under them. It's still money out here to be made, people.
And a lot of times they're required, depending on what company it is, they are required to have a subcontract. They can't even do the contract unless they have you. So that's thank you for bringing that up, because that's another angle that a lot of people will do. I used to say, I'm not doing subcontracting. I am the unicorn, I'm the prime. But of course, like you said, if there's money out there as a subcontract, absolutely, I'll go that route.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that the government is setting this money aside for small businesses to keep you from being crushed by the large companies.
Yes.
They're just trying to help you out, but there's not a lot of small businesses who even know about it. You'll see somebody start a catering business, and they'll try to get a food truck and go around. And I'm not saying they can't make money doing that, but the government is ordering food too, and they're ordering large amounts of food. And the same
trucks will be right on the military post. We've eaten them.
Exactly, right. Right. But you may get a contract to even, maybe they want a mass order for an event or something like that. It's just, I remember they have these functions for the Army and stuff like that, like
all
Yellow Ribbon and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so they go and they rent out the hotel.
The space.
For the whole, like all the rooms, all the floors for families for an event that, for people shipping out and things like that. Right. I don't know if you ever heard of Yellow Ribbon events.
Oh yeah.
So they'll rent out that whole hotel for all of the family members. Right. But they would pay speakers also to come speak to the family members, motivational speakers,
child care providers,
all of that. It's all there. So they paying crazy money. Like these events have,
it's almost like robbery.
These events have crazy numbers attached to them. I don't think I can imagine one of those events being less than 100,000 with everything that I've seen.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah, and they may do them like every month, and so some of the same vendors are always at these same events. Like they just kind of go around, the same speakers at all of the events, and public speaking even is a high paid thing, and if you can do that and get associated with the government, like the government has the most money, not Microsoft, not none of these other places.
Right.
The most money is there. But so what is your plans for the future going,
So just continue to go this route. So we briefly talked about like the different types of contracting. Right. So federal, of course, we know largest. Local, there's a lot of money local, state and under.
It's really easy to get set up.
It's so easy to get set up. You can just set up as a vendor on your local county, city, school system, whatever. And a lot of times they'll send you stuff and ask, hey, can you bid on this? And they'll tell you what documents you need, and you just do the documents. And then we have corporate. And I mentioned to you about disability if you've ever heard of being minority certified or women certified through WeBank and stuff like that. That's the corporate side, meaning you can do contracting for Wells Fargo, for Boeing, for AT&T, for whomever. And so those certification agencies will give you the handshake, basically, to say that this person is a small business and they have to set aside, they want to cut your grass, Wells Fargo, and then you partner with all the Wells Fargo in Metro Atlanta, and now you're doing all three tiers, federal, local, and corporate. So
see,
order of information.
Oh man, we're gonna do some other videos.
The different ones.
Yeah, we're gonna have
That'll be fun.
We'll have to go into this,
Yeah.
So because the process of getting set up for each one of these things is different.
Right.
Government contracting is a whole other thing.
Right.
Getting your DUNS number and all of that, and then you got the whole state side, like the local side, so you can get set up in your state, or county, and so you'll get these bids for like maybe the school system. They might be ordering. Pencils, right. I was actually thinking pencils, but I didn't want to say, but they might be ordering 10,000, 50,000 pencils. And,
literally.
And so you just have to, call around for a pencil manufacturer who's too large to receive this contract because, they're a large company and they may have this set aside for a small business, things like that. So you got to find out how much they're gonna charge you to deliver these pencils. You upcharge on the government side, and you're really just playing middleman.
Voila, profit.
Yeah. So, but you need to do a course. You need to do a course. Don't you guys think she need to do a course?
Oh gosh, ooh.
Let's
Let's talk about it offline.
Yeah. She need to do a course. Anyway, anything else you want to say? We got to do more videos because we need to go in way more detail about other things. People ask me all the time. I told you I'm not really a social media person anymore. Right.
That life is behind me, but every now and then I'll get people to send me inbox messages to ask about, hey, can you just give me a tip or tell me what to do after this step? And I really enjoy doing that. I really love helping businesses. Because even if I give you every single drop of knowledge that I have, most people are still not going to do it.
Of course not.
So there's money out here for everyone. And so I'm always willing to share my knowledge. So
even myself. I know so much that I don't do. Like we was just talking, like I'm set up for all of this stuff. I haven't actually.
But we're gonna change that.
We're
gonna change that.
Hey, I'm open for some more money. I'm always open for some more money. So, but she's an expert. My sister, I gotta like try to link you to a.
Great, yeah.
So the contracts that we got before, where my sister was the one who had set those up. That we want to talk about doing the events. Like even if you do music, right? Let's say some of you guys out there might want to sing or rap or whatever like that. There are events that the government puts on and they're looking for talent, but you have to know how to even get into those events. They don't necessarily know who you are or anything like that. It's just that they need talent, and if you have a professional product and you know how to get into the system, you can be booked, and they're paying $2,500, $5,000, $10,000, whatever for these events.
I've seen contracts for guitarists to play in the on church on Sundays. Like they just needed a guitarist, and they put it out for bid. Instead of just getting a soldier or a local person, they have bids for everything. I would challenge anyone to just go on the it's not FBO anymore, it's beta.sam, which I don't love. but that's a topic for another day.
Okay.
But if you can navigate through that site,
that conversation myself.
if you can navigate through the site and just, if you sell flowers, just go and type in flowers and just look at the verbiage. So that would probably be my biggest piece, is just look, just poke around and see what you can see.
Start setting your mind on government contracts. That's what you need.
Government contracting.
I'm telling you, like, that's the future for me. Like, that's where I would like to take everything. It's no competition, like zero to no competition with clients.
With clients,
you know, trying to get clients, and you know, it's crazy money. They pay way more than market usually. So, you want to tell them where they can find you? She ain't really. You ready for that yet? You ready? Not ready?
I mean, you can, okay. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn is probably the one that I stay closest to. So Sheena Parker on LinkedIn. Find me on there.
That's right. So my Instagram is @KingCasino1. My email addresses are all in the description below. I'm gonna put her Instagram. Oh no, not Instagram. Her LinkedIn.
You can put Instagram on there. You can put it on there.
Okay.
I just don't have notifications on my stuff.
Okay.
So
I'll put her IG on there. If y'all guys want to go out there and follow her, you know, do that. Me and her gonna have to link up. We're gonna have to do some more of this because so much information. It's so much. You guys have no idea how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Oh my gosh.
On this.
Yes, you know? Late nights, early mornings. Yes. So,
right now you're watching Casino is the Name, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe this video.
Beat me up, Scotty. Me and
her together, we just count it up. Money on my mind, I can't get enough. Don't play with my money, you don't want no beef. Cause I come from the bottom, I come from the street. When she first saw me, she said, who is that? When a man saw me, he called me a threat. I'm the one that really live with a rap. They ain't never did it, they ain't really trap.
You say you want to be successful. Well, what's stopping you? Can't nothing stop you from being successful except for you. You standing in your own way. I came from the bottom. I ain't know nothing but the grind. You can't tell me nothing about that. I caught the bus at Basin Street Projects in Tallahassee, Florida. You hear me? I used to think $1 million would last me my whole life. I'd have made that and spent that. $1 million ain't enough. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the Name.